In this video, I'll be taking a deep dive into one of the most influential Roblox games, that being the Camping series. In this deep dive, I'll be looking at the game's contents, all the lore, explain the whole timeline, the game's history and impact, as well as the many trends this game started and the many people that played it, as well as practically everything else about it. Anyways, on to the video. Well, for this video's first chapter, I'm going to do the interesting thing and explain all the games in the order they were first released. First off, we have camping. In the game, you and a party of many other players will be transported to Specky Woods, a wonderful campsite with a dark past. In the campsite, you'll read some introductory dialogue and then everyone will be able to roam the campgrounds freely, finding many unique items and Easter eggs. Some items include the lucky coin, giving an extra life, the umbrella, protecting you from rain but not negating all damage, a frog that hops out of your inventory after a few seconds, a medkit for healing, a flashlight to see in the dark, and a s'more that does nothing besides be annoying. During the roaming period, you're also able to go to other areas of the camp, those being a well, an old structure, a cave, a pond, and 2 pillars. Some Easter eggs are the old hippo that can be found in the pond but is now removed. I swear it was there. I'm not crazy. As well as the poster on a tree giving insight to tons of lore. Anyways, on the first night, everyone sits by a bonfire when a monster appears in the flames, and everyone must run to the cave for survival. In the cave, people will grow hungry and realize the picnic basket was left at camp, and a group of people will bring it back to feast on some sandwiches. But it turns out one was poisoned, and someone will become poisoning anyone they touch and eventually dying. After that, you'll stay the night in the cave. Overnight, the red tent crumbles and all the players inside die. The next day, there's more scavenging and exploring as we find out some deer died and camp helpers are assessing the situation to help you. Later in the night, you and your party decide to go into the cave and stay there for the night. But the entrance collapses and the players have to push rocks inside the cave to try and escape. Then after all the players push the rocks successfully, they will find 2 slides, and one of them will kill the players, the deadly one being on the right. Then after that, the players will be put into either flood escape style obstacle course or a stupid hard maze with a bear hunting you down. After all that, you escape the cave and spend another night at the blue tent. Although during that night a player will be kidnapped and everyone will have to look for them, and after all of that it will start raining and everyone will go to sleep. Lastly, in the middle of the night the camp starts flooding and everyone runs to the pillars from earlier to try and survive, where the same evil spirit from night 1 appears and kills the remaining players. Well, that's a lot to assess, but all you need to know is that this game set up the basic formula for Roblox story games, that being a cheap horror game made to have horror elements and a short story anyone can digest, as well as giving the community many trends such as the poison food and mazes obsession that would be shown in the later camping series and more in other story games. Now for the second game released, Camping 2. In the game, you and every other player will take canoes to Specky Camp. When you get there, Camp Ranger Daniel will show you around, first the camp, then the dorms, and lastly the bathroom. In the bathroom, the lights will flicker, and the dirty mirror of the bathroom, everyone will appear dead. After that, everyone explores and are split up into 2 groups, the campsite and the dorm. At the campsite, a mysterious killer will appear and try their best to kill the players that are outside. After he appears, players must run to the dorms and survive there, as camp guide Daniel, who was previously at the bathrooms, will come back to the dorms after he heard screaming. When he comes back, people are confused but asleep and wake up to Daniel ready to go hiking on a hiking trail. Everyone that can finish the hiking obstacle course more that makes an annoying noise. After the hiking, people will go back to camp where it will begin to rain and the fire will go out. After that, everyone is tasked with finding firewood, and when they come back, they will light the fire once more. And then explosives appear until they just stop, and then Daniel will appear, and the game implies that Daniel has been causing all the mishaps around camp since he's usually gone when the killer appears. The player will be given a choice to shoot Daniel or not. After that, the players will be sent down into a pit near the dorms where the players can descend down and go through some trials and obbies until the area floods again and the monster from the first game fights the killer, and this ending with the spirit from the first game winning the fight and ending the whole game. It's weird. They just end the game. Also, yeah, one thing, so sorry for the bad audio for like most of the video before this. I was just really tired. Alright, time for the next thing. Yeah. I'll keep the assessment of Camping 2 brief. Anyways, new trends that started here are the choice system, more intense endings, and the flooding liquid, as well as Daniel returning. Anyways, on to the third entry in the series. Next there's Hotel, where all of the players appear in a liminal hotel room and go to an elevator with the other players sending you to the hotel lobby, where you and all of your crew will be left to choose your own room key and venture upstairs to your floor or just use the elevator. When in your room, you are able to explore the confined area with your roommate until the alarm goes off in the middle of the night and actually has something pretty spooky, if you would say. I'll just play the audio here.
Attention, please. There has been a report of an emergency. Proceed calmly to the nearest exit and leave the building immediately. Do not use the elevators. Use stairwells where necessary.
Pretty spooky, eh? After everyone is in the lobby, they are allowed to return to their rooms using the elevator. Although, before the elevator closes, a mysterious dark monster will appear rushing towards the players as the door closes and lets everyone in. Once everyone's in the elevator, they decide to go to one person's room for safety. After a while in the room, a family that is very important to the story comes to your door asking about the noise. You tell them you saw a monster and they brush you off as liars. After that, everyone decides to take the elevator downstairs to use the phone in the lobby to call for help, as the building is now snowed in. On their way down from the room to the lobby using the elevator light flickers and everyone panics as it goes down to a new floor where it begins to overflow with the same dark liquid we all know and love. This time from the side. As people do an obby to escape, they will find a strange room with a dead body on the floor. After some time, a ladder will open to an elevator where everyone will go to a lobby to call for help. After they call for help, everyone decides to go to the roof to wait for a helicopter, but the elevator malfunctions. During this mishap, you will also basically have to play Flood Escape again to get to the roof, having the return of our favorite dark liquid. Yippee! After that, we end up next to a locked door with a vent system where everyone goes through the vent system maze and appears on the roof. From there, a dark monster will appear, having an amazingly detailed and fully fledged boss fight with 4 amazingly unique attacks. Having the boss fight go on until help appears and everyone either goes off to their room, which gives a cheap jump scare ending, and if the players go to the lobby, everyone will be safe from the monster, leaving with the cops and having it all wrapped up in a nice ending. That was a long one, and I don't have much to say about this one, besides that it heavily expands the plot, explaining most of it through indirect dialogue. This one has to definitely be my favorite in the whole series. Anyways, on to the next one. Alright, something brief before we talk about Mansion is that one of the characters introduced has 2 names. It's really confusing, so just know Jack Logan and Zach Logan are the same person. The 4th game released is Mansion. In the game, everyone will be whisked away into their respective houses in one neighborhood, living with around 3 people. After a while of chilling and exploring your environment, when you were let out of the house to get the mail, you see that Jack Logan is hosting a dinner party after the unfortunate death of his daughter. After you receive the invitation, you will drive with your roommates to the party, one of them driving the car. When driving to the mansion, you'll be able to overcome many hazards until you're there. After you get to the mansion, you'll be invited to the kitchen table and sit down as Jack Logan gets dinner. After waiting for a while, your party gets confused and goes to the hallway to see if Jack has gotten the food yet. When looking in the hallway, you will see Jack do a reenactment of the iconic "Here's Johnny" scene. Wowzers, that was so spooky! This should have been the Halloween special. Ha 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 ha. Please laugh. After that, he will chase you into a room where you have to look for an exit that goes into a closet, into a strange gateway to another room where you can find a coffin with his daughter's corpse inside, looking like it's been experimented on. After some investigation, his daughter's corpse reanimates and makes the floor open up, having the players fall down into an obstacle course dungeon thing with fire and spike. It's weird. After the obstacle course, you will find yourself in a room where snakes crawl everywhere. And after that, you will escape back into the hallway and go into another room where you will go through a maze of bookshelves leading to the end of the game. This is a weird one. Although Mansion is short, its short entry is the debut of a main character, that being Jack Logan. That's kind of the only important thing that really happened in it, so yeah. Time for the next and last one. The last game released in the camping series is one everyone was waiting for, Camping 3. Since I'm not as aware as it on this one, I can't go into as much detail as the first ones, but I'll still try to explain it well. Alright, so you and the other players fly into a snowy mountain via helicopter. When everyone's at the snowy mountain, they begin to explore the area. You don't see much, and the area is pretty boring, only having one large cabin and some sort of old mining cave. After that, everyone heads back to the cabin, but during a late night, you hear crying coming from the forest, and you go to check it out. Inside the forest, you see an animatronic mouse come along and eat a park ranger who is crying alone in the snow. Just saying that is such a silly thing. Nobody likes Park Ranger Steve, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, after that mouse incident, he will chase down your party, striking down lightning until you guys all get to the cabin. Once everyone is back at the cabin, it will turn to day, but one of the people overnight had become sick and locked inside. For some reason, they lock everybody inside, and they have to avoid the spread of the virus, and some little pranksters can get sick and just cough on people and then like end the whole game. I think it's pretty funny, but yeah. During the night, it gets very cold inside. For some unholy reason, everyone goes in the old mine, even though they had a fire in the house. Whatever. Once in the mine, it gets snowed and everyone grows hungry. And then some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in a Roblox game happen. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Cannibalism. After you vote to kill one of your teammates, rip off their limbs and eat them. It's not that graphic, it's just Roblox, but I like making it sound. Then the snow begins to fall into the cave, flooding it even more, causing people to have to run away flood escape style, going through obbies and all that good stuff. And until you get to the end and meet everybody's favorite character, Park Ranger Daniel. After we escape the mine, Daniel will give a brief summary of what's going on, and everyone decides to camp out in the cabin and wait for the monster to appear so they can fight it. Once it appears, everyone runs outside to find the monster from Hotel and the same mouse, where everyone fights in one of the best boss fights in Roblox history. A close second to the lawn mowing simulator's ending. During the fight, you have no other goal than just survival, which I personally love. Anyways, after the action-packed amazing fight, the mouse and Hotel monster win. Although, during the climax, the spirits of the family from Hotel will be pushing against the minecart to try and save us. And all the remaining players are forced into a minecart that will be pushed off a long cliff. During this, the first villain from the first camping game appears, ending all the fighting. After that, some dialogue happens, and the game comes to a very cinematic ending. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, which you most likely did due to the fact that you're watching to the end, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, you know, all that YouTube stuff. I can't thank any of you guys enough for all the patience you've had. I don't have a reason for not uploading, I'm just lazy. But, I hope I can see you in part 2. I just wanted to get the video out. Yeah, I just wanted to get it out so that you guys actually had content. That's kind of it. Oh yeah, next upload won't take so long. Tell your mom I said hi and peace.